Yep, that's Johnny B, and you're probably wondering how he got into this situation. Unless you're a Gen X sci-fi fan, in which case, you absolutely remember. But Johnny B wasn't the only sci-fi hero who deserved more screen time. Some TV shows didn't just end. They got sideswiped, steamrolled, or straight up abandoned by the networks that were supposed to back them. And with that, we lost some unforgettable heroes who were just getting started. Today, we're counting down 5 80s sci-fi TV shows that deserved so much better. Short-lived gems that never got a real shot but left a lasting mark anyway. Stick around for number 1 because even after all these years, we sci-fi kids are still mad about it. And if you love digging up forgotten gems, don't miss our full playlist of underrated 80s TV shows. The link's in the description. And of course, hit that like button and subscribe because we've got plenty more TV deep dives coming your way. Alright, now let's get into it with number 5, Otherworld, CBS.
Other worlds lie outside our seeing, beyond the beyond, at the edge of within. The Great Pyramid, erected by the Ancient Ones as a barricade at the portal between 2 dimensions, 2 separate realities.
At number 5, it's Otherworld, CBS's 1985 sci-fi adventure that had a family vacation really go off the rails. During a tour of a pyramid in Egypt, the Sterling family accidentally slips through a portal to another planet called Tel, divided into bizarre zones, each with its own weird laws. One zone banned rock and roll, one was ruled by androids, and one took women's rights so far that backyard barbecues were considered scandalous. Basically, it was the Twilight Zone if everyone had feathered hair and acid-washed jeans. Each week, the Sterlings landed in a new zone and had to run for their lives, all while being chased by Commander Krull, played by a then unknown Jonathan Banks, years before he became Mike Ehrmantraut on Breaking Bad. Fun fact, the capital city of Tel, it was literally New York City turned into a giant photo negative because nothing says alien planet like an inverted Manhattan skyline. Just as Otherworld started hinting at bigger mysteries like time flowing differently on Tel, CBS yanked it after only 8 episodes. If Otherworld had survived, the showrunners planned to reveal even weirder secrets like how Tel's zones were part of a larger experiment run by shadowy Earth forces. Creator Roderick Taylor admitted later that CBS originally ordered a 13-episode run, but halfway through, execs soured on its too smart premise and slashed the budget. Fans were left forever wondering if the Sterling family would make it back home or if Tel was their new reality. Now, if you could jump into any fictional world from an 80s show, which one would you pick? Drop it in the comment section below. Up next, time travel, history fails, and the worst TV scheduling decision CBS ever made. Number 4, Outlaws, CBS.
Posse's forming up at Schmidt's livery. Schmidt's livery! Yes, you must bring your own weapon. You damn.
Now at number 4, we saddle up with Outlaws, the 1986 sci-fi western that asked, what if a posse of 19th century cowboys got zapped into the 1980s and decided to start a detective agency? Okay, the premise sounds a little weird now that I've said it out loud, but the show was actually pretty good. It kicked off with Sheriff Jonathan Grail, played by Rod Taylor. Yes, Rod Taylor from The Time Machine, confronting the Pike Gang, his former outlaw buddies in a Native American graveyard. Just as tensions peaked, a bolt of lightning struck, catapulting all 5 men 87 years into the future. Stranded in 1986 Houston, they formed the Double Eagle Detection Agency, aiming to bring justice with old-school skills, 6-shooters, and very limited patience for traffic jams. The ensemble cast was a who's who of talent. You had Rod Taylor as Sheriff Grail, bringing time travel experience straight from his Time Machine days. Richard Roundtree, Shaft, portraying Isaiah Ice McAdams, an escaped slave turned outlaw. Charles Napier, known for his rugged roles and booming voice as Wolfson Lucas, a tough outlaw and tracker. William Lucking, who would later ride with the Sons of Anarchy as Harland Pike. Patrick Hauser as Billy Pike, Harlan's younger brother, bringing youthful energy and some serious denim, and then Christine Belford as Deputy Maggie Randall, the modern-day cop who became their ally and Grail's love interest. Despite a plot that lassoed strong ratings, CBS corralled the series into the dreaded Saturday night time slot where shows often went to die. The network's lack of promotion didn't help either, and after just 13 episodes, Outlaws was quietly put out to pasture. Behind the scenes, the show tried to blend Western tropes with modern-day crime solving, but maybe it was just a little too ahead of its time. In a peculiar twist, the final episode incorporated footage from the Oregon Trail to enrich a flashback sequence, and no, I don't mean the computer game that you loved in elementary school where you had to trade for an oxen. This was the Oregon Trail series, starring Taylor and Napier to enrich a flashback sequence. Outlaws may have ridden off into the sunset prematurely, but its unique premise and genre-blending adventure left a trail worth revisiting. Number 3, Automan, ABC. At number 3, we have Automan, the world's first human screensaver crime fighter. Premiering in late 1983, Automan was supposed to be television's answer to Tron. It was a glowing, futuristic buddy cop series where computers could create cars, helicopters, and even superheroes, all with a few zaps from a floating pixel named Cursor. Desi Arnaz Jr., yes, that Desi Arnaz, already famous thanks to Hollywood royalty and his own acting career, played Walter Nebeker, a nerdy programmer who created the ultimate crime-fighting AI Automan, played by Chuck Wagner. Need a Lamborghini? Zap. What about a helicopter? You can zap that too. Need a dramatic 90-degree turn without slowing down? Well, just zap that and hang on tight. It was ambitious, it was cheesy, and God, it was glorious. And ABC absolutely fumbled all of it. Instead of giving Automan a real chance, they threw it into a brutal Monday night slot against Scarecrow and Mrs. King and TV's bloopers and practical jokers. It was basically the TV equivalent of a kitten going blow for blow with a lion. What's even worse is that they barely even promoted the show at all, leaving viewers who might have loved the futuristic concept completely in the dark. Behind the scenes, Automan wasn't a cheap show either. Episodes cost nearly $1 million apiece, a massive sum for early 80s TV. Glenn A. Larson, the legendary producer behind Knight Rider and Battlestar Galactica, bet big on cutting-edge chroma key effects to create those glowing wire frames. But those dazzling visuals took so much post-production that new episodes constantly ran behind schedule, making Automan both expensive and late. So when ratings crashed thanks to the awful time slot and lack of marketing, ABC lost patience fast. Automan was cancelled after just 12 episodes, with one episode, Club 10, never even airing in the US during its original run. Over time though, Automan built a cult following with reruns on the Sci-Fi Channel, a full DVD release, and even toys and a Commodore 64 game for hardcore fans who never forgot Cursor's antics. It wasn't perfect, but it deserved a real shot, and at the very least, Cursor deserved an Emmy for Best Supporting Geometric Shape. Desi Arnaz Jr. gradually stepped back from acting after Automan, focusing more on music and business ventures. Chuck Wagner, the man behind Automan's glowing smile, kept acting in TV, stage, and sci-fi conventions, proudly keeping the cult legacy of the show alive. Now from pixelated heroes to stranded families in another dimension, next up is a show that should have been a sci-fi classic. Number 2, Voyagers, NBC. Now at number 2, it's Voyagers, the time travel adventure that somehow made history class feel cooler than recess. Phineas Bogg, a leather-vested adventurer with the historical knowledge of a bagel, teams up with Jeffrey, an 11-year-old walking encyclopedia, to fix history one disaster at a time. The secret weapon was a magic pocket watch called the Omni, and a lot of desperate guesswork from Bogg. Without Jeffrey, we probably would have had Shakespeare inventing basketball and Julius Caesar running a Pizza Hut. Each week, Bogg and Jeffrey bounced through time, swapping togas for trench coats, while Bogg grumbled "smart kids give me a pain" every time Jeffrey bailed him out. Voyagers was fast, funny, and weirdly educational, which made NBC's next move feel even dumber. They canceled it after one season to make room for Monitor, a new show so boring, even David Letterman couldn't stop roasting it. And just when fans were hoping for a comeback, tragedy hit. Star John Eric Hexum, NBC's next big bet, died in a freak on-set accident while filming another show. NBC and Universal scrambled. They stitched 2 old Villagers episodes together, slapped the word movie on it, and called it closure. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Instead of a grand finale, Bog and Jeffrey just disappeared into TV history, 2 Voyagers lost in time, and a whole future we never got to see. After Voyagers, Mino Poulos left acting behind and became a successful TV director and photographer. It seems that Jeffrey's smarts weren't just for the screen. And now we have our final entry, a team of superpowered misfits who deserved way more than 15 episodes. Number 1, The Misfits of Science, NBC.
So you want to release the Thompson twins and let's go?
At number 1, we have Misfits of Science, the only superhero team that traveled around in an ice cream truck. This 1985 NBC show was like Ghostbusters meets X-Men if both had a lot less budget and way more hair mousse. Dr. Billy Hayes, played by Dean Paul Martin, that's Dean Martin's son for those wondering if coolness was genetic. Anyway, he leads a ragtag crew of human anomalies. A 7-foot-tall genius who can shrink, played by Kevin Peter Hall, an electrified rock star played by Mark Thomas Miller, shout out to Johnny B, a teenage telekinetic, which was played by a very young Courteney Cox, and the world's most indifferent secretary. Their mission was stopping bad guys, avoiding electrocution, and somehow keeping Iceman from melting in the back of their ice cream truck. Okay, he was in the lab freezer, but the ice cream truck would have been way more funny. In a strange twist, Misfits of Science was timed to capitalize on the Ghostbusters craze. NBC wanted their own wacky super team for Friday nights, but instead of giving it a primetime slot or any real marketing muscle, they tossed it into the dreaded Friday death slot, competing against juggernauts like Dallas. Courteney Cox, still years away from Friends fame, later credited Misfits as the role that taught her how to survive and shine in a crowded ensemble cast. The show had heart, chaos, and an absolutely bonkers energy that made it fun. It even launched the career of Heroes creator Tim Kring, who wrote one of his very first episodes here. But NBC barely promoted it, buried it in a terrible Friday night slot, and canceled it after 15 episodes, leaving 1 episode unaired in the United States. Today, Misfits of Science has a serious cult following, and if there's any justice in the world, one day someone's going to reboot it properly. After Misfits, Courteney Cox, of course, went on to Friends fame. Kevin Peter Hall starred as the Predator in the original Predator movies before his untimely death, and Mark Thomas Miller stayed active in TV and theater, always proud of his electrifying cult following.
Look, Keith, Amelia's got a candy bar for you, but if you want it, you gotta get in the truck, okay?
And there you have it, 5 80s sci-fi shows that didn't just get canceled, they got robbed. Whether it was bad time slots, cold feet, or just being way ahead of their time, these shows deserved so much more. So which of these cancellations hit you the hardest, and which 80s shows do you think also deserved another shot? Let us know in the comments because we love hearing your picks. And if you're feeling nostalgic or just a little outraged, hit that like button and subscribe for more trips through forgotten TV history.